You are listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
What's going on, everybody? And
yo!
to another episode of No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, as always, with my good buddy Dan. Dan, you feeling that KU team pride? I can tell with your jersey right there.
Happy holidays, my friend. It is a glorious week full of a long-awaited Kansas Bowl game. We don't know what that feels like, by the way. I don't know. A lot of teenagers don't know what that feels like if they're fans of KU. So it's a good time.
It's today, right? The game?
Tonight, 4:30. Very early game. You wear your USC stuff, so you're like, it's just another year. But KU's like, hey, this is kind of important.
Yeah, we got our Cotton Bowl game coming up on January 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
So, but hey.
I didn't want to make you pissed, so I wore Kansas instead of Alabama. So there you go.
Alabama, it's a down year for Alabama.
Down year. They're still in the damn New Year's Eve bowl and whatever. And
it's not the playoff.
It's a down year when you don't make the championship, right?
Alabama and USC equal footing this year. So
I suppose so. There you go. Whatever.
Is that a Todd Reesing jersey?
I don't know. It's just number 10. There's no name on the back. It's just but I did buy it when Todd Reesing was there. So yes.
It has to be a Todd. He was number 10, right?
Yeah.
No, he's
I think
number 5.
I bought it around, huh?
He was number 5.
Well, who was number 10 then?
I don't know. I'm not going to take the time to look that up.
It's not a big deal. I did buy it, and it's just it fit me. It's a medium, Jimmy. Football jerseys, you can wear mediums, and it makes you feel like you're slimmer than you are, even though you usually wear large or XL. But you rock a medium, things are good.
I have a medium Carson Palmer jersey from 2002 that I can still fit in somehow. It's the only thing from back then that I can
Makes
fit
you feel
in.
good. You might be feeling bad about yourself in other clothes, but you put on a football jersey, you're like, look at me all in shape and shit.
Yeah, I don't Kerry Meyer looks like that was number 10, at least back in 2008 when they went to the Orange Bowl. So quarterback / wide receiver. So there you go. Little KU football history.
Everyone shows up for that. People like to know. Hey, did you get any Christmas gifts?
I did. I got some. I got some Christmas. I got some birthday gifts.
Oh yeah,
so
happy birthday to you and all that jazz.
You as well. It was the week before. I should have mentioned it and I forgot, and that's because I'm a terrible friend.
We talked about. I did the stinger at the end of the pod last week. I said it's my birthday this weekend. I went and failed an escape room and had some Ethiopian food. So there you go.
You failed an escape room.
Yeah, I know that's surprising because
that's usually a rare occurrence.
I'm usually amazing, but my wife and I went and did one. We did the hardest one. That Breakout KC has to offer, and maybe we'd be a little better if we had 1 or 2 more people, but we did it together by ourselves.
Sure.
And the guy said we probably got 85% of the way done, and I'm like, that's pretty good for a 9 out of 10 difficulty.
Didn't I see you put up a picture the other day where you guys got through an escape room in like 40 minutes or something?
We did a 40-minute one. Yeah, that was an easier one though. That was a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, well, still.
That's not tough. But then we got out of like a 7 out of 10 at like 59:59. One time, so
you got out
pretty wild. I know, ish. She like stopped the time because she saw we were on the final task, so she allowed it. But I love escape rooms, dude. They're fun.
Yeah, I think I've done 2. One was with you, I think. Did I do one with you? No, I haven't done one with you. We've talked about doing one. I did a Breakout KC, and I think I put you there in my mind because I'm like, I know Dan's always at Breakout KC, so he must have been there.
My aura.
Yeah, I've done one there, and I've done one in New York City. So we'll have to do one.
I love them. If anyone's going to an escape room and you need, a ace in the hole, hit me up.
Just tweet at Dan Kooser.
Get me. I'm coming. I'm on the way.
Did you get any SKC or KC Current stuff for the holidays or your birthday?
Surprisingly, how do you buy someone soccer stuff? Someone that has it all. They. What are you gonna get me? Another hoodie or a jersey? I mean, I got some Legos. That's pretty, the childish shit that I get, but nothing too crazy,
Yeah, I got a Charlie Hustle Kansas City soccer T-shirt that I'd been eyeing for a little bit, so pretty cool. There was a couple of KC Current stuff that I put on a list for some family members I didn't get yet, so I'm gonna have to go out and maybe use a couple of my gift cards that I got, buy some Teal Rising gear.
Yeah, absolutely. So. They, it's It's an important time getting all these gifts. That's what Christmas is all about, receiving and
That's right.
opening things. Yeah.
I did get some gift cards and some money that I'm gonna be able to put toward a future Disney trip. So
Oh,
that'll be
naturally.
good.
Yeah, man, I got the new Call of Duty, by the way. I don't know if you're a gunner on there, but
It's been years.
I like the campaign, surprisingly. Everyone's like,
Mhm.
campaign sucks. And I'm like, stop it. It's great storytelling. And the cinematics are amazing. So screw yourself.
So is it the campaign? Because you were telling me before we started recording that apparently there's a soccer tie-in to Call of Duty. So
Supposedly.
explain this to me.
Oh, I think on their multiplayer Warzone or something, you can play as either Pogba, Messi, or Neymar.
As
and
one
on-
does when you're
only two of
playing
those.
in, a
Yeah.
realistic war simulator.
Oh, I'm usually playing war games, and I'm like, man, if only I was an athlete right now.
What if the world's best athletes were also soldiers?
Yeah. Oh God, if only I was Patrick Mahomes as a sniper.
Like that dumb U.S. soccer, like when the casual soccer. If our country's best athletes only played soccer, it's like, man, if our best soccer players only were war fighters.
So stupid. Yeah. Let's put the best soccer players in the NBA or vice versa. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, I see. I've heard like you can get athletes or whatnot in Fortnite. Call of Duty is a different one. So
It's a
I
little
don't know.
different world. I don't dabble in the multiplayer because I don't always pay for the online play. I kind of
Sure.
switch months on and off, save my
Sure.
money there. But because when I do, I usually get owned by some child.
The 12-year-old that's cursing you out and saying
Dude,
derogatory things.
I haven't been good since like early college days. I used
Yeah.
to go on like 10 kill streaks, and I'm like, I'm pretty freaking good at this game.
Yeah.
And now everyone's good, and I'm like, I'm not good.
You'll learn some new slurs from an 11-year-old though on Xbox Live,
No.
probably.
That's nothing. A good C word can't be tossed their way.
Oh my god. On that note.
Oh, hey.
Yes.
Sorry. Let's just keep talking about our life for a minute. We don't need to talk about soccer. Have you seen any movies, dude? It's award season, and I know you like movies like I do.
I haven't seen any movies since
No
I saw
movies.
Glass Onion in LA.
Glass Onion, we saw that, or we watched that at home the other night. Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Not gonna spoil it, but I know that you went to see Avatar. I think.
Avatar. We saw Babylon. We saw The Menu.
Okay.
About to go see The Whale, I think, and we also saw The Fablemans.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, dude. There's some good films out, and it's award season, so you might be seeing a 3.5-hour movie, but it's good.
Well, or it might be
stuff.
Avatar 2.
That was a good movie.
Okay.
You don't like Avatar?
I haven't seen it. The first one, I mean, look.
It was revolutionary.
It was Dances with Wolves. It was Pocahontas. It was
Sure.
the same story that you've seen over and over again.
I mean,
just with blue aliens. The
yeah.
best thing about Avatar, the first movie, is the ride at Disney World.
Oh, it's great. I know what you're talking about. That's a great ride. Man, oh man.
Oh, yeah.
You get high and go on that thing. It is wild.
Haven't tried that yet, but hey, there's always my next trip.
Riding that thing. Dude, I'll tell you, Babylon has been dying in theaters. No one's going to see it. And you guys are messing out. So go see it.
Okay. Well,
It's a good one.
there you go. Movie reviews with Dan.
Movie reviews, man. Hit me up next week for musicals.
Let's talk some sport in Kansas City here a little bit. There's not a ton of news to talk, but first off, actually, before we do that, if you have not yet left us a 5-star rating and review, go ahead and do that on Apple Podcasts. We will read it on air as we do. So if you haven't yet done so, go ahead and do that, and we would very much appreciate it. But biggest sporting Kansas City news, I guess, from the week that we've yet to talk about is the MLS SuperDraft is a thing. And
the most important thing.
The best offseason roster acquisition mechanism in
100%.
MLS, the MLS SuperDraft. And you can tell how important the MLS SuperDraft is to all the teams involved by the fact that Sporting Kansas City picked 8th in the draft, and they were the first team to actually use their pick that had their pick at the start of the draft.
Everyone else was just like
7 picks were just traded back and forth. In Houston, they traded down like 4 times and just kept getting more and more allocation money. And they just were like, our team's bad, and we do not want any of these players.
They're just like, we abstain. We got a new coach. Things are weird right now. So
yeah, Ben Olsen, probably not the best coach. So we'll see how he does in Houston.
I always find that weird.
A year in DC, but
I always find that weird when people get fired from a coaching job just to like have another coaching job. And then everyone's like real excited. And it's like, hold on. He didn't do great there. What are we pumped about? I don't get that. I think that's what everyone had with like the Chiefs with Andy Reid for a bit. Like, it's like, okay, he never won the big one. He always got them where they need to be,
but he was a good coach.
But he never got the big one. So when he finally got the big one with us, it was a big deal.
Sure. But Andy Reid, Ben Olsen is not the Andy Reid of MLS.
No, I am not saying that. Retract that. That is not a thing. Well, we got a guy. I mean, we got a couple guys.
We got a couple guys.
One guy got the buzz.
We picked number 8, and we talked about this a little bit last week on the podcast. We figured, okay, Sporting KC's biggest need is probably still central defense. Looking at a center back here. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend I knew all of the prospects and who was highly rated where. What I saw some mock drafts that had Sporting Kansas City picking a center back a couple of times. So figured that might be where we were going to go. One place I didn't expect us to go was striker. And that's where Sporting Kansas City ultimately went at number 9. Sporting Kansas City picked a forward from Florida International University named Stephen Afrifa. He was the 8th overall pick. And he's a 21-year-old striker. Apparently, he can also play on the wing. He can play a little bit of midfield, but this is interesting. He's a Canadian forward. He had 23 goals and 11 assists in 63 appearances. Now it's college, so it's a little bit different, and he wasn't necessarily a starter his entire time. But his senior year, he had a team-high 10 goals and 4 assists. He also has a little bit of experience playing in USL League 2. He played for expansion side 1 Knoxville SC, which I just learned. I was right now years old when I learned that was a thing that existed. But he scored 10 goals and led the first-year club to a first-place finish in the South Central Division and a run to the quarterfinals. So this guy, he's, if you're going to get a super draft pick, sounds like he's got a little bit of experience that he could bring to the table.
Oh, no doubt. And why not sign a striker, though? I mean, we've relied on strikers in the past, and it didn't pan out. I mean, we had to pop Kyrie Shelton in there, which worked for a bit until it didn't, and then now then Alan Polito is hurt forever, and now we got Willie Agata coming in doing big things. So I don't hate this at all. I don't love it. I guess I like it.
I mean, I have no expectations for the super draft, honestly. Yeah. I don't consider it like a viable roster acquisition tool necessarily. It's sort of like if somebody comes through the super draft and they become even a rotational player on the roster, that's a win. If somebody comes through the super draft, they sign for SKC2, they stick around for a couple of years, it doesn't work out, and then they move on. It's sort of like, okay, you took a flyer on somebody because you can. I mean, you're not going to pass on your pick. And then, you see what happens. But what was interesting to me about this pick is Matt Doyle. You see what Matt Doyle said about Stephen Afrifa? He said that Afrifa reminds him a lot of a man by the name of William Agata.
Oh, okay.
And he said his style of play, the way he's able to sneak behind the back line, and sort of how he positions himself, some of his hold-up play, some of his ability, reminded him a lot of the same style as Willie Agata. And then Doyle, in rare Doyle fashion, went on at the end of the clip and was like, and you saw what Willie Agata came in and did for Sporting Kansas City. Sporting KC was one of the best teams in the league at the end of the year. So
yeah. So I think we'll take another one. How about that?
I would like 2 Willie Agatas, please.
I'll take 2 Willie Agatas. I do like, I don't remember who asked this. Someone was asking Brian Bliss at they had a little press conference with him, and he was talking about their picks and everything, right? I can't remember who asked, but they asked if Stephen Afrifa is is that more of an SKC2 pick, or will he make the first team? And Brian Bliss is like, for starters, what is Brian Bliss going to say? He's going to say, nope, he's reserved. Like that's putting a freaking ceiling on this player, right? So he naturally he says, well, we fully expect him to compete for first team minutes. Like that's 100% why we're bringing him in. You can't say like, nah, he's JV. That's all he'll ever be.
Right. I mean, he's probably going to end up, if he does anything in the preseason when he joins Sporting Kansas City, he'll be signed to a first team deal. He might get loaned to SKC2 to get some experience. Some of that might depend on Alan Pulido's time frame. And so there was an interesting quote when Brian Bliss was talking about Steven Afrifa. He said, "We were looking at somebody that could fit our style, somebody that we felt could come in and make an impact, knowing that Alan Pulido is expected to be back, but we don't exactly know the time frame of that." So that's an interesting. Now that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I don't want to be like conspiracy theory guy here who's like, "Oh no, what happened to Pulido? Is he ever going to play again?"
He's traveling the world.
Because we've seen through his Instagram stories and stuff, him like pulling sleds and doing like physical workouts with his leg and like building that strength back.
Yeah.
So I would expect that Alan Pulido probably will. You're shaking your head.
I'm concerned now when you hear that. It's like, what? Okay, well, then we should not have any expectations. Get in here and compete for minutes, Steven.
Well, Steven will definitely get some minutes, especially in the preseason. I have no sources on this in particular. This is pure conjecture. The way I'm interpreting Brian Bliss's quote here is I think they know that this knee injury that Pulido's had has been lingering for a couple of years. It dates back to, I believe, his first season with Sporting Kansas City. He sustained it when he was on national team duty with Mexico early in his time with SKC, and he's just been playing through it. They ultimately decided to shut him down, have the surgery, and Peter had indicated that like he could potentially come back stronger and better and more fit than ever after actually taking the time off to properly deal with and rehab this injury. So the way I am choosing to interpret Brian Bliss's comments is they don't want to slap a time frame or any sort of specifics on Alan Pulido's return, because on the off chance something goes wrong, if he says, yes, Pulido is going to be ready to go at the beginning of the preseason, and for whatever reason he's not, the Sporting Kansas City fan base is already very sensitive to Pulido's fitness and health, because there's lots of talking points out there in the internet sphere and even amongst MLS pundits of Pulido has only played about 50% of the games he should have been available for. And so I think they're trying to underpromise and overdeliver. I expect Pulido will be back and ready to go around, if not ready for the start of the regular season. I think they're just kind of waiting to see what he looks like in more of an actual game setting throughout the preseason. And I think the fact that Willy Agada has turned out to be such a successful signing takes some of the pressure off of rushing Pulido back.
This is hot. That's hot.
That's my interpretation.
This is hot goss. This is you saying things that people are just going to be like, nah, you're wrong, dude. I don't know. I think until I see him out there getting meaningful minutes, I got to be a little skeptical. I don't know what that's going to look like. Maybe he is healthy, but Willy Agada is the one getting those minutes right now. You know what I mean? I don't know. Until I see him out there playing serious training, I mean, he can push all the sleds and climb all the stairs he wants to, visit all the countries in Egypt. Well, Egypt's one country. That's a weird thing for me to say. He's a world traveler, but I think that until we see him training with the first team, it's so easy to be a little guarded, a little pessimistic.
Sure. And I think I don't think I can sit here and say I expect Pulido to be the starter on day one, because when you haven't played a full game for over a year, it's going to take some time to work your way back into 90 minutes fitness. So I think it would be fair. Like I said, I expect Pulido to be ready for the start of the season in some capacity. I wouldn't be surprised if for the first month and a half or two, as Pulido works his way back to fitness, and depending on how Agada does, Agada is the starter at striker. And then I could see Pulido coming in for 10 minutes at the end of the game, 15 minutes next, 25, working his way up to a half of fitness, and then eventually up to potentially being able to be a starter. But I think the reason that a guy like Afrifa makes sense, is Peter had said they were looking to add a third striker, because I think they probably know it's not wise. On the off chance something happens to Agada, it's not wise to have your only other striker at this point be a guy who hasn't played a full game in nearly a year and a half. Because then if something happened to Pulido in the preseason, we have a 15-minute fit Pulido, and then we're back with Kyrie Shelton starting at striker. And that's probably not anything that anybody wants to do.
Nah, that's just going to open up a lot of mean people on Twitter.
Right. There's too many of those. And Elon's not banning them anymore.
Yeah, and now we can see how many people our tweet reaches, by the way.
Apparently.
Have you seen that? So
yeah. Well, you can see how many people other people's tweets reach. You could always see your own if you really wanted to dig, but now I can be
could
like,
you?
oh wow, 647 people saw Dan's tweet.
Yeah, probably not. I don't really do the social media very often. It's therapeutic to not.
Yeah. So, but I like the Afrifa pick. I'm curious to see how he fits in, and the way that Bliss positioned it, and the way that Sporting Kansas City positioned it is they keep referring to him as a striker/winger. And then Bliss said he's dynamic in his play, clever on the ball, can break lines and get behind defenses. He can also do it on his own on the dribble because he's very creative. So that just means that they have a lot of options to play him, potentially at a 10, a second striker, or on either wing.
Bro, that's going to push your Daniel Shallowies. That's going to push your, holy shit, who's the guy?
Marinos Johnny's.
Yes, Johnny's. Oh, my God. Dude, it's
Marinos
like
Johnny Santacumpo.
it's been relax with all that French. I think that it's going to push these guys, man, bringing this young guy in. So I'm excited about it. The super draft is never really an exciting thing, but when you have someone like Matt Doyle, whose job it is to break down all these picks, and he says something like, this guy is really similar to Willie Agata. Well, guess what? Willie Agata's kind of good. So we'll take that similarity, bring him on in.
Will Steven Afrifa kiss Peter Vermees the first time he scores a goal?
Well, that's risky. That's risky. I got things. We're gonna get Peter on one of these days. We're gonna ask him all the gossip.
About the kiss?
We gotta ask about the kiss. We gotta ask about the slip and slide. There's things to be asked. Is that bad?
No, hey, you ask it. I'm just gonna hide.
Where do you go? I can still see you.
No, Peter, he when he's in a good mood, he's a fun guy to talk to. So
well, let's just hope. We'll just keep our fingers crossed.
None of us are fun people to talk to when we're not in good moods. We're not going to catch him after a loss, so that's already a win for us.
I don't know. I come on this podcast very angry all the time, and I kind of fake it pretty well.
Yeah, I can tell. So, we did pick again in the second round, the 37th pick in the draft. And this is where Sporting Kansas City did get their defender. It was center back Chris Rindov from Maryland.
Yeah.
He's a 21-year-old center back. Maryland's very good at soccer.
This got zero hype, by the way. Like, I don't even think they put out an article about it. It was a whole thing.
It's in the second half of the article about Afrifa. Afrifa is definitely the main focus of that article. I mean, it's tough. Like, best case scenario for a second round MLS SuperDraft pick, at least their first year, is they sign with your USL or MLS Next Pro affiliate now.
I mean, how old are these guys? You know what I mean? It's like
21.
That's all you can hope for, really.
Mm-hmm.
You're still a pro. If you're getting paid to do something, you're still a professional. We're professional podcasters. You know that? Did you know it?
That's one way you can put it, I guess.
Hey,
technically.
I got paid for being in musicals. I was a professional fucking actor. That's a big deal.
Do you get paid to do improv? You a professional comedian?
Depends on the gig. Sometimes I have been paid. Yes.
Okay, there you go. So he started each of Maryland's 38 matches over the past 2 years. He's I think, he's 6'2", 190. So he's got decent size, what you'd expect for a center back. He was a
they
freshman.
Gotta blast his weight like that. God dang.
Freshman walk-on, but then was a team captain as a senior. So, I think we will see what we get in Rindov. I don't think any of us expect to see Rindov get meaningful Sporting Kansas City minutes this year, but I'd like to see him back there for SKC2 and see what we got.
It's pretty cool. I mean, we should all watch more SKC2, really. I don't know why we don't talk about it near as much. It's not as sexy. It's not as flashy,
It's hard sometimes for me to get into SKC2, especially now in MLS Next Pro, because at least when they were in the USL, they were USL affiliates, but like it was, and I think Peter's almost said as much. It was like winning the USL championship or MLS Next Pro championship. That's all well and good, but that's not the primary goal. Isn't winning. The primary goal is to develop these players to fit into the Sporting Kansas City system. Right. Now, obviously, you would hope that winning is a byproduct of that, but it's always been very clear that Sporting Kansas City is the primary focus and then SKC2 or Swope Park, excuse me, whatever they were called, was secondary. Because how many times did we see, oh, SKC has a week off for international break or whatnot, and you'd see the article come out and be like, Sporting Kansas City has loaned 13 players to Swope Park for the week, and then it was just SKC playing in the USL.
And that was cool. It brought eyes to the team. It made us watch. But I think that it is JV, man. Not as many people attend the games. Not as many people watch the games. It just is what it is. But that being said, it's time, right? You want to try to make the time. Mm-hmm. But, you also got the women's team here in town and any other sport you're watching. So there's a game on every day, for God's sakes, if you want to watch one.
Yeah, there's so much sports. It'll be interesting, and I'm sure MLS Next Pro it's accessible. You can watch it online, I think, and so you can watch it. And if you want to get deep into watching some of these prospects develop and get time, it can be exciting. It's just you never really know how long some of these players are going to be around, and then they might get their time finally and get a contract with Sporting Kansas City, but then it could go the way of like a Wilson Harris, where he got like 30 total minutes and something happened, and then it's like, okay, move on.
But you're still seeing Kendall McIntosh played a lot of games for SKC2 last year, and then he played a pretty bitchin' game for SKC.
Right.
It's John Postcamp was sliding into SKC2 for a while.
Sure.
You are watching the up and comers, and if you do watch, there's a sense of like I knew them when. I knew them when they were that. So
sure. I mean, Buzio played quite a bit early on in his career for Swope Park / SKC2. Felipe Hernandez did. Jalen Lindsay did when he was here. So Juan
the Rad brothers did. Kave and Jahan.
I think so.
Yeah.
So it's there are definitely players to watch, but I mean it's the same thing like watching the U.S. youth national teams. It's like these might be the stars of the future.
Yeah,
you might see a Caden Pierre or somebody who can develop into a potential starter. It's just it's not as easy to get emotionally into because it's a lot more like scouting and work, which is cool if you're into it.
True.
So
also cool to see two former players on the sideline coaching with Benny.
That's really cool too. Benny and Ike being a part of it, I think is really cool. And obviously we had Paolo before then, so it's very cool.
That's a goal of mine as well, to have one or both of those guys on in the future.
Benny and Ike
on the show.
Man, having Benny and Ike together at the same time.
That'd be wild. I'm pretty sure we'd lose the reins. Yeah. Pretty sure it has to be one or the other.
Would just be the Benny Feilhaber show again, just rebooted.
It wouldn't even be our show, man. It'd be like having Nate Bukaty on here. That guy's a freaking radio host, for God's sakes. It was no longer our show. the man, he told us, by the way, Merry Christmas to me. Nate Bukaty followed me on Instagram.
Big time.
Christmas morning. So there you go.
Big time. Look, Nate knows what's important to do on the morning of Jesus' birth.
He knew.
He goes,
man.
I need to follow the man who looks like Jesus.
Yep.
And follow Dan Kooser on Instagram.
It was. I saw it and I was just like, wow, Jingle Bell Rock. Life is good, man.
It would be fun to have Benny and Ike on. My favorite Benny Feilhaber show moment is, way back when, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, when they were interviewing CJ Sapong about conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah.
And Benny was just like, I think he thought CJ was doing a bit at first and then realized pretty quick CJ was not doing a bit, and he fully believed all these conspiracy theories. And Benny finally was just like, what is happening?
What were some? Do you remember it all?
Oh, I don't remember. You gotta go watch it, and
how would you find
it's definitely worth.
Are they polled?
I bet they're still up there. Let's see.
You think they're still out there?
Benny Feilhaber show, CJ Sapong.
Because there was some good stuff. They would lip sync to different songs and stuff, and I'm like, this is quality entertainment. They released a T-shirt, for God's sakes. I bought it.
I can at least find it on Reddit.
Okay, well there you go.
It takes a link.
Nothing's ever truly gone.
Oh, it's not on the Sporting Kansas City's website anymore.
Nah.
So that's a bummer, but I wonder if I find it on YouTube. Nope, I can't. So
bad deal, bro.
I'll find it and I'll tweet it out.
No way. No way. It would be out there already, like on Twitter somewhere. I think they probably pulled all of it.
They did. Sal Zizzo was the sidekick.
Yeah.
What a time.
What a time to be alive. You all missed it.
I'll find it somehow. I'm sure it's out there. I'll do some digging. Anywho.
That's your assignment for this week.
The only other Sporting Kansas City news, really, and this is honestly from a couple of weeks ago, Sporting Kansas City at the time was linked to a Slovakian center back, and I'm not sure that anything's really come from this or what. But Norbert Gjomber was a center back that plays for Salernitana in Serie A. I'm sure I butchered that as well. And so it was Sporting Kansas City and then a club from the United Arab Emirates that were sort of looking at him. So whether this has resolved in some way that just hasn't been reported and he ended up with another club or what it tells me is Sporting Kansas City are still looking to add another center back in the market, which is probably smart because we're, without bringing EC back, there's a hole there.
Yeah, makes sense. I feel that that's a big priority.
Because I mean, at this point, I guess it would just be Courtney Ford and Fontes are the two likely starters.
That's my pick, yeah.
Which I think Ford's got a lot of potential. I don't know if I'm confident sitting here right now and saying Courtney Ford is the starting center back on a MLS Cup caliber team.
Well, I know he listens to us, so I know he will make it. He'll be the starter for sure.
I love Courtney Ford. He's from Olathe, so shout out to Olathe.
So he also has Google updates set up for when his name is
mentioned.
I don't know.
I think he does search himself on Twitter.
He does do that. Make sure you say nice things. I say nice things. So
I've Googled myself. It's
okay.
hard to get any results because of the song called Jimmy Mack. So
that's probably tough. Googling me is way easier. It's insane.
Well, I get some old improv videos if I Google Daniel Kooser.
Yeah, there's some out there. Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to do a little stuff. I'll be tweeting out the Benny Fellhaber show and some old Daniel Kooser greatest hits.
I could just send them to you. It's
you don't want me to tweet them out?
Of course I have them bookmarked.
Yeah. I watch them every day.
They make me laugh.
I wake up, I turn on my highlights, and I go from there.
There's some stuff on there, man. I've been in some shows and stuff that pictures show up and shit.
I gather Marissa and the dogs, and we watch it at Christmas time every morning.
It's you're not far off, yeah.
That's most of the Sporting Kansas City news that we have this week. We are tomorrow doing a little show outing to the Kansas City Comets.
Hey,
seeing them play the Monterey Flash for only the second time ever.
I almost forgot that we were going to that. So I'm glad you said something, and I wasn't just gonna stay home and you show up.
I'm and you're like, hey, where are you?
I got the whole row to myself.
We have good tickets too.
Yeah, they're not bad tickets. I'm excited, man. I think that I've never been to a Comets game, so
I haven't either.
Pretty excited to get out there and I don't know, watch some fast-paced, different soccer.
Arena soccer is wild because the rules are a little different. There's super high scoring. There's power plays like there are in hockey, so you can be down a man, and the games end like 12-11. So it's pretty crazy. And this is apparently, I didn't know this until I was reading a little bit more about the game today. Only the second time we've ever played the Monterey Flash, and this is the first time the Monterey Flash have come to Kansas City. And the last time the Comets played them was 2,895 days ago at Arena Monterrey in Mexico.
Holy shit.
So this is kind of a historic game, if you will.
Where's this team from?
Monterrey, Mexico.
Really?
There's teams from Mexico in this major Arena League soccer.
Oh, we might have picked a great freaking game to go to.
Yeah.
This isn't just crazy. This isn't some like Wichita, Kansas team or some team from Nebraska or some shit. This is a Mexican club coming?
Yeah, this is Monterey coming.
What was I thinking? I knew it was Monterey, and I was like, sounds like it's California.
Yeah, Monterey, California. coming with some wine to drink. Yeah. No, there's a couple at least of Mexican teams. There's also the Chihuahua Savage from Chihuahua, Mexico. They're in
I'm
major
bringing my dog.
Arena League soccer.
Chihuahua Savage? That's what I'm going to call my little Chihuahua from now on. Splinter, dude. Splinter's a Chihuahua Savage.
Yeah. And, it's early in the Arena League season, but Kansas City's in second place right now, only second in the conference to the Florida Tropics.
Hey, are we behind the bench or are we across from the bench?
I want to say we're behind the bench.
Are we? Okay, we're like row
I don't
5
remember
or some
exactly.
shit.
We're pretty close. So I'm
Row
excited. It'll
5.
be fun. If y'all are happen to be at the Comets game, send us a tweet, send us a message,
Yeah.
let us know. Come say hi. We'd love to say hi to you. We'll probably put up some Instagram content from the
Absolutely.
Comets game, and
I'm gonna buy some merch.
buy a scarf, buy some merch, cheer on the Comets. It should be fun.
Hell
So
yeah.
it'll be a good time. Let us know. Maybe we'll try to get in touch with somebody from the Comets and see if we can't have a good time there. So
We already had a guest from the Comets on our sister podcast currently.
there you go. We got that in.
Just a coach, no big deal.
No big deal. That's pretty crazy though. It's still really cool.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, yeah, no, I'm excited about that. But yeah, let us know if you're heading out to the Comets game. Love to say hi and watch the team take on the Monterey Flash tomorrow night. So
I'll make you remind me again tomorrow.
You transferred me the ticket at least, so I will be there in our seats.
I made sure to get you that ticket. Absolutely.
Yeah, and Chris is going to be there. Chris is responsible, so Chris will be there.
If we ever do things together, like I need you to know, I love buying shit. Like, and it's not a control thing. It's more of it brings me serious pleasure. Like just to hit the purchase button on something. My wife will be like, "Hey, can you buy this for me?" And I'm like, "Hold on, I gotta do some research to see what's the best one. I gotta make sure I'm getting you the best, and I will buy it." You know, I don't know. I love it. So getting all the tickets and sending you the ticket, I was like, I'm so good.
I can't imagine your reaction then when you hit a win on the sneakers app.
Bro, that is happening often, and I need to relax because like now some Jordan 2s are dropping soon, and I'm like, well, I'll probably try for those. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, you send me the screenshot when you get them. I'm like, damn, those are sick. And I'm like, you're dropping some dollars on some shoes.
For some reason, your opinion matters to me. So I do I do ask your opinion on these. I don't know why. I don't know why I can't be like, I like them, screw everybody else. But I have to be like, hey, what do you think about these? I'm like, yes, Jimmy likes.
There's that one time where you got two different colors of the same kind, and you're like, I can't keep them both. I got to get rid of one. And hey,
that was a bad time.
You have quite a lot of luck, it seems, on the sneakers app.
I was gonna see if you wanted to buy them.
Now I know what's behind the ask. Hey, do you like these? They're pretty cool, huh? Do you like them $300 worth?
No, I would never mark up the price. I just had to move them. I was like, I don't want both.
Too much inventory.
I just tried for both because I wanted one or the other, and I got both. So
you win everything.
I am a winner, dude. All I do is win, and it's
I don't know how many sporting Kansas City, competitions or raffles or whatever you guys have won between you and Marissa.
People don't play that shit though. People don't play. It's a numbers game. Yes, I painted the wall with Matt Beasler. Yes, they sent us on a trip to New York City one year, but no one's playing these competitions, so that's why I won.
Yeah, it's
pretty. And they don't do the competitions anymore because I kept winning. They're like, we can't have the same guy.
we can't send him to New York again.
This is absolutely ridiculous. He already painted the wall, for God's sakes.
Yeah, exactly. So,
dude, we're getting Beasler on here too, by the way, and we're gonna have Tucker throw up some freaking video of us painting the wall. It's gonna be
back when you had the headband and the selfie mirror.
I was so drunk. We're gonna reminisce about all of it.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll remember. He'll say, "Oh yeah, I remember totally." And
he remembers. He was there. He painted it.
Yeah.
You think he doesn't remember painting a wall?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he remembers the weird magic mirror thing that they had you hold too.
I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, it was a great little Instagram story, me or whatever it was.
My favorite is the one you told Matt Beasler that you both should raise the cup together.
Yes, that was my idea.
He kind of took over.
He's like, "Is that it?" I was like, "We should probably raise that cup." And so we did. That's that drunk courage. I had a bunch of beers before going, and I was just like lit. It was a hell of a time.
Like, I mean, did you see what this, the Salt Bay guy, the viral internet sensation? You see what he did at the World Cup?
Yeah,
walking around just taking the trophy. He's taking pictures. He's not, and you're not supposed to hold the World Cup trophy unless you're like on the team.
Why did he do that?
Because he is a self-righteous influencer. I don't know. He's just going around and he's trying to get pictures with Messi, and Messi's like, I don't know who you are. And he's taking a picture with one of the Argentina players who's holding the trophy. And next thing you know, he just takes the trophy and kind of steps to the side. So he's like taking a picture of himself by himself. No Argentina players anywhere, just holding the trophy.
Is he a chef?
He throws salt on meat or something.
Well, that's weird. Everyone does that.
He does it a certain way.
Yeah, that way is dumb.
It apparently got him on the field of the World Cup final.
I don't want it touching your skin before it hits my meat.
Yeah.
So like, don't let it go down your ashy elbows when I'm trying to eat my ribeye. I think, dude, I don't like it. If you haven't seen the menu, but I bet if he's a chef, he's definitely that kind of chef, murdering fools.
Oh, okay. Now I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy as shit.
I guess the only other thing that really to mention, because there's not a ton of news this week, is the biggest MLS news, if there is news, is former designated player Maxi Morales. He won MLS Cup with New York City Football Club. He's probably one of the better midfielders in MLS history. He's leaving NYCFC after 6 seasons. He's going back to Argentina to play with Racing Club, one of the bigger clubs in Argentina. So
yeah,
it's it's weird to me, like, having followed the league for a number of years. I remember Maxi Morales coming into the league, and Sporting Kansas City might have actually kind of been semi-tied to his name at one point.
Okay.
I think Portland was tied to his name at one point. He ended up with NYCFC, but I remember him coming and being like, oh, this is the guy. He's going to be one of the better midfielders in the league. And now I'm like, damn, it's been 6 seasons and he's already leaving and he's 35. Like, time is crazy.
Another thing is it outdated our last week's podcast immediately when Lionel Messi signed another year to stay in Paris.
I forgot.
It's like, glad we got excited for nothing, because nothing matters.
We're geeking out about going, and we're still going to go to Miami. I think that's the plan.
It's happening.
But we were like, we're going to see a World Cup champion. He's coming to MLS. And then like Fabrizio Romano, like not a day later, is like
that morning
got into an agreement with Lionel Messi to stick around another year. And there were some people on Twitter who have connections to Inter Miami who are still trying to be like, no, Miami still feels good about where they are. And I'm like, once Fab tweets it out, like, this dude has 4.5 million followers or whatever. He doesn't get these things wrong. Like,
is it official though? Has he signed pen to pad?
I don't know that PSG has put anything out, but BBC's reported it now. Fabrizio Romano's reported it now. Like, there's no way all of these places are getting it wrong. And there's one guy who has a podcast in Miami who's like, oh, but my sales rep at Miami told me that there's still a chance, and it has nothing to do with that. They want me to get more season tickets.
Well, there's always still a chance, but like it doesn't seem likely anymore. I just hate that it happens so fast. I was like, man, we were kind of geeking a bit, and then this.
My favorite thing I saw from reports out of Miami is there was one report that was like, my understanding is Inter Miami's office is it's set for now. So if it's not now, then it's not happening. And I'm like, there's no way. If Messi came back to Miami 6 months from now or a year from now, they're not going to be like, sorry, remember that now or never deal that we gave you 6 months ago, Lionel Messi? You're not coming here anymore.
Terrible. It's probably trying to it's always a numbers game too, right? Trying to get prices. Who was it? We didn't touch on this, but who was it that was linked to potentially Sporting KC, but overall chose Toronto? Was it Matt Hedges?
Oh, Matt Hedges. Yeah, Hedges ended up with Toronto. He was a defender that Sporting Kansas City was looking at. And
we had a very smart segment on our pod, and we were like, yeah, I mean, we'd love to have him. And then
veteran center back.
Our producer Tucker was going to tweet out a segment about that, like, hey, you guys sound really smart talking about Matt Hedges. And then he goes to Toronto, and it's like, everything sucks.
Yeah, we jinxed it.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, man, it's not a ton more news to talk right now, but we're getting so close. Preseason's going to be just around the corner. It's almost the end of 2022. I cannot believe it. There's 3-4 days left in the year when this comes out. So I think.
Guess I'll see you next year.
No, I won't. See you tomorrow.
See you Thursday. Damn it, I forgot already.
I swear I'm gonna be there, and Chris and I are gonna be like, "Where's Dan?" And you're gonna be like, "What are you talking about? I don't know."
Chris is gonna need a ride or something, so he'll probably come to my house, and we'll take him the rest of the way.
You're gonna be like, "Chris, why are you here?" And he'll be like, "The game. That's in an hour."
Buddy, I'm eating soup. What do you mean? It's dinner time.
It's 2022 in a lot of ways has been a year to forget for Sporting KC, but I think especially the back half, as we talked about, laid some building blocks and a foundation. And I keep thinking about what Graham Zusi said, where he was like, it's so weird to be playing so well, which is different than it's been in years past, at the end of the season, and really be going on a high note into the postseason, except you can't be a part of the postseason. Yeah. So I think
Graham Zusi,
there's the risk that, that can kind of like stifle and go away. But I really do believe, based on the players we've talked to and what we know about this team, that if anything, that's just going to sort of be like a fire burning inside of them all throughout the offseason, where they're like, I don't want this to happen again. We're going to continue that momentum. Agata and Tommy are going to be that much more integrated. Nemanja Radoja is going to be integrated because he'll have a full offseason. And I really hope that we'll hit 2023, hit the ground running.
Pretty cool, man. Freaking preseason starts in like a week and a half, dude.
Wild.
Like training camp. You know what we ought to do sometime? Why don't we head on down to Arizona for like one of their preseason games? I'm sure we could watch training, talk to players and whatnot.
Get some content.
That'd be a hell of a time, dude. Kind of explore Arizona a little bit, get out of the Kansas winter.
Yeah.
Like
not fly Southwest.
Not fly. Right, dude. How does that work when you're so loyal to an airline and then this happens? Do I gotta like break up with them and like go find?
Sorry,
I gotta find.
Not me, it's you.
Do I gotta start seeing other airlines? I don't understand.
I just wouldn't fly anywhere in the next week and see how it shakes out. But
well, now are they going to be like, hey, $68 flights wherever? And it's like, all right.
Take advantage of some of it, I guess. We'll see.
I guess.
I don't know.
Weird,
It's
man.
a mess. I'm just glad I'm not flying. So.
Yeah, I got nowhere to be. So I hope if you're listening to this, you're making it home safe.
Good luck. Maybe we're killing some time while you're waiting on the phone for 17 hours to talk to Southwest.
That sounds so weird to me.
So, but thank you all so much. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Happy Festivus
Christmas,
for the rest
Hanukkah.
of us. And hey, Happy New Year. We'll be back after the New Year. Looking forward to 2023, getting ready for preseason start. But we appreciate all of you who have stuck with us. If you're a new listener, old listener, whatever, thank you so much. Make sure you leave us that 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, or leave us that rating on Spotify if you have not yet done so. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NoOtherPod, at Dan Kooser, at JCMac03, or shoot us an email, nootherpod@gmail.com. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.
Rock chalk, baby.